Hi guys, and welcome to this week's video tutorial. This would be the second board in chapter 1 of the book Xiangqi Opening Tabia by Master Yang Wenqi and Grandmaster Zhang Qiang. This will be a continuation of the video last week. And without further ado, let us begin. Central cannon, same direction cannons, file chariot, rank chariot. We will be discussing this variation again. Again, red will develop both horses as proper horses, and black will traverse his chariot across the palace to the red file. P3 plus 1. Now, this would be the position of discussion for this board. Black, instead of P3 plus 1 in the previous board, black would now play H2 plus 1. Now, the advantages of making this move would be that black would be given more control over maneuvering his material on this flank. He would have a more versatile position. However, the downside of making this move is that black central cannon will now be, or central file for that matter, will be greatly weakened. So it will be a target of attack for red. Now, at this point in time, there will be three major variations that were discussed in the book. The first would be P7 plus 1 for the double-headed snake pawns. The second would be A6 plus 5. And the third would be H3 plus 4. Now, in variation A, red will go for P7 plus 1 to develop both pawns. Now, in terms of Xiangqi opening theory, this might not be such a good idea, although red would now push 2 pawns forward and allow for development of his horses, but by the 6th ply, he used up 1/3 of the 6 plies to move the pawns, and this would be done at the expense of development of the other major pieces. Also, black had played H2 plus 1, so therefore the efficiency of this move would be decreased, because if red had played H2 plus 3, this move would have made more sense. Now instead, pushing this move would allow black to attack with C2 equals to 3, which is what precisely black would do in similar circumstances, whereby black would now prepare to play P3 plus 1 to attack the horse over here. Now, red would usually counter. Red did not back down, and he would again go for the cross river bank chariot. Now, suddenly, the situation on the board will become very tense, and a major confrontation would now start very soon. So R1 equals to 2, R2 plus 6. Again, this horse will be a major target of attack. It cannot move because the chariot had now covered this file. So red would usually try to change formations to the sandwich horse defense formation. And black was now prepared to sacrifice the pawn to attack. Now this will mark the start of full-scale assault. Obviously, red cannot capture the pawn, or he will lose the horse and probably the game. Now P7 plus 1 was encountered by black's C3 plus 1, whereby the horse will now be protecting the cannon. Now this is quite a commonly used tactic for black in similar situations. Black, after pushing the cannon forward, black would now be prepared to play C5 equals to 3 to attack this file and hopefully gain material. So how should red counter? You usually play C4 plus 1 to dislodge the black chariot, forcing it away, and then play H3 plus 4, preparing to trade material. Now, at this point in time, both cards refuse to give in, and black would now attack the central file. Now, it would not be a good idea to play C3 plus C5 equals to 3 now, because black would now offer a trade of material. If, let's say, if black accepted, This would be a bad idea because the red horse will now be attacking the other chariot also, and black will lose material. So black will usually play h4 plus 3, red will counter with r4, r6 plus 1, r2 plus 1, e7 plus 6, threatening a check. And after sacrificing the elephant, red is compensated with active development of his major pieces, and he will have the slight advantage. But nevertheless, black would have his chances, and development of the red horse remains an issue. And the black cannon would now have the black chariot would now have pinned the red cannon and chariot in the same file. So black will still have a playable position. But it is recommended that black play p5 plus 1, whereby black will now be prepared to push the central pawn forward again to attack. And the red cannon will be moved to the riverbank to prevent this from happening. Now this is a necessary move. If a6 plus 5 were played, red will go ahead to attack. And because the pawn now moved, the black chariot will now command red's pawn rank, and red will be in all sorts of trouble. Red will be forced to retreat his cannon and thereby lose some tempo, threatening to gain material. And red would have a hard time dealing with this situation because now the horse will be attacking the chariot. So if the chariot moved, the cannon will capture the horse and black will gain material. So red would have a hard time dealing with the situation. Now if red captured the cannon, the elephant will capture the horse and still threaten the chariot, and again red will be faced with the possibility of losing material. Okay. So I c8 plus 2 is a necessary move, preparing if black push the pawn forward, red will gain material with this discovered check. So r4 plus 6 to threaten the horse, offering a trade of chariots. And after trading chariots, the issue of the horse would now be also resolved, and black would retreat his chariot back because red was prepared to capture the horse to gain material. So in this situation, both colors are pestering each other. It will be a very sticky situation, and black can be satisfied with this outcome. Now variation B is 6 plus 5 in anticipation of the black chariot advancing to attack. Now black could play r4 plus 4 in the main line. He could also consider playing c2 equals to 3 and still have a playable position. And red would usually take the opportunity to adjust his formation. Now red sacrifices this pawn to fight for the initiative. It is quite a light and delicate move, which would point the direction to success. Now if you play e3 plus 1 or r2 plus 4 to protect the pawn, it would be too conventional, and black could exploit this situation. So red will now capture the pawn. Red will move the horse to safety. Black immediately plays r1 plus 1, preparing to gain material. Red dislodges the chariot. Takes the opportunity to develop his chariot. r1 equals to 8 to pin. 6 equals 7 to attack. Get a cannon. c2 plus 2. c8 plus 2. Dislodging the chariot. As can be seen, both colors have retreated all their material back to their own territory. c5 plus 4, black also decides to switch formations. Black tries to capture the chariot, and black traverses the chariot to the corner. It's a move put out of this desperation. Now if he played r8 equals to 6, red would go for a fork, and then be allowed to play c2 plus 6, c2 plus 7, sorry, for the check. And red would then, let's say if black make this move, red will now be prepared to gain back lost material. So black would red would now have a significant advantage, and he'll be losing material. So now if black played this move to protect his cannon, again red will make this move, and black's formation will be in disarray. So r8 plus equals to 9, and red would play r2 plus 1 to maneuver his material to better positions, and red would have the initiative. Now let us go to variation C, whereby h3 plus 4 is played. The horse charges to the rear bank for attack, and black would play r4 plus 4 to threaten this horse. Now if he played r4 plus 7, red would be prepared to play c8 plus 4 to attack the central file and also protect this horse with r9 plus 2. And if black tried to consolidate his defense, the chariots would be out and red would have the initiative. So that is why r4 plus 7 is not as good as r4 plus 4. And red will gladly trade material. After trading material, this is a commonly used tactic by both colors in cannon versus cannon opening systems. a4 plus 5, so that the king could come out and attack if need be. e7 plus 5, in preparation for p7 plus 1 to dislodge the black chariot. c2 equals to 4. Now this would be favorable for defense, as one of the major issues of developing the horse as an edge horse, will be the fact that the elephant cannot move e3 plus 1, as this intersection will be now occupied by the black horse. Now this would have implications on defense because the chariot cannot protect the bottom rank against possible iron bolt checkmates by the enemy. Now if c2 equals to 3 were played, black will attack aggressively, link the cannons up, b3 plus 1, attack, red will sacrifice the horse, and to prepare, once the chariot was here, it will be in a very bad position, and red would now be prepared to set up the iron bolt checkmate. And now it goes to 8, blockade, counter blockade, and red will protect the horse. For his next move, red would be prepared to move the advisor to dislodge the chariot. So red would have the advantage in this situation with the central cannon and a very open position for his pieces to maneuver. So let us review this board from the eyes of black. Same direction cannons, file versus rank chariot, proper horse, cross palace, whip chariot, p3 plus 1, and in this move, position of discussion, black would play h2 plus 1, and 3 variations, p7 plus 1, a6 plus 1, h3 plus 4. p7 plus 1, red will now attack the pawn. Red refuses to give way and counterattacks. Again, the chariot will now be developed to attack this horse. Red switches formation. Black starts to draw first blood, pushing the cannon forward, preparing to play c5 equals to 3 to storm this file, dislodging the chariot, protecting the cannon, h3 plus 4, p5 plus 1 to attack the central file. c5 equals to 3 might not be such a good idea because red will sacrifice an elephant and be prepared to have an open space for his material to move. c8 plus 2, a must-make move to prevent the central pawn from advancing. And after trading material, both colors will be pestering each other. It will still be too early to decide who will have the advantage, but black would have a playable game. Variation B, a6 plus 5. Black will counter r4 plus 4 to target the pawn and the horse. c5 goes to 4 to switch formations, moving the horse to safety. Immediately r1 plus 1 to try to gain material, dislodging the chariot, moving the cannon to the riverbank. Black switches formation, red attacks the chariot, and r2 plus 1 red would have the initiative. Variation C, h3 plus 4. Again, cross riverbank chariot, a4 plus 5. After trading material, steadfast move for defense. In this case, now again, c2 equals to 3 would not be a good idea because red would now be prepared to set up the board for a potential iron board checkmate. And then goes to 8, blockade, threaten, and red would have advantage in this situation. Now, as can be seen, in these three variations, it will appear that red's p3 plus 1 was not such a good idea. Perhaps the best option for red would be to play h3 plus 4. Now, another thing to note, in variation B, after r4 plus 4, red adjusted his formation with c5 equals to 4. This is quite a versatile move that should be inspirational. Finally, h3 plus 4, and red will be able to mount some form of attack. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's video tutorial. If you like the work that I've been doing, please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you.